Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy. Decade Andy. Decade is in the corpse, not the decade. As Nicole tagged me incorrectly on Twitter, funnily enough, this week. I was like, that's not me. There was somebody actually called Decade Andy who was decade as in the decade. I was like, hang on a tick, that's wrong.
He was probably like, who's this woman?
Yeah, who is she? And why does she say I look like a hockey player? Because apparently that's the thing. Doesn't make any sense to me because I don't know anything about hockey. Apart from you have a goon. You have a goon who bullies people, and that's about it. Anyway, we're here to talk about Transformers. I'm here with Mikey. Hello, Mikey. How's it going?
Hi, Andy.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, Andy.
Oh my god, that well, fantastic. Love it. We're here to talk about Transformers, of course. There's an okay-ish amount of news.
Some news.
Yes, that's probably the better way to phrase it. There is some things to talk about. Not a lot, but I suppose since we've had the big reveals, we shouldn't expect anything big for, I guess, a while, again in the future. But we got a few little bits here and there. We'll kick off with the DNA Designs DK30G and the DK30U. No, there was a dash in that one. These are upgrade kits for the Generation Select Galvatron. That's the comic colors ones, as they call it, and an upgrade kit for the translucent purpley one where he turns into Galvatron, the one that Mikey was very interested in at one point. I don't know which one's which, but either way,
yeah, I don't know which one's which.
And it doesn't really matter, I suppose. At the end of the day, it's just the same upgrade kit, just slightly changed so it fits onto both colors. And to be fair, this upgrade kit is just, I assume, what you would call the DK30. Because that one was previously for the Galvatron, so the G and the U of the respective recolors. So, if you didn't know, the upgrades include no shoulder parts, leg extenders, new hands, a matrix holder with a chain, a new face with 3 interchangeable faces, a G1 toy-inspired gun, and blast effects. So, Mikey, we have talked about how you like the look of the comic grey Galvatron, almost like Megatron. Would you want this upgrade kit if you got this version of Galvatron?
Not really, it doesn't do enough. Just make, the best thing it does is make the legs longer, but I don't care enough about that. So,
wow.
I would be perfectly happy with the figure as is. I just wouldn't, okay, it makes the Matrix look better. Mm-hmm. I'll give it that. Apart from that, it's just not something that super interests me.
You don't care about your Galvatron having a Napoleon complex? Is that what you're telling me?
I mean, I want him to have a Napoleon complex because it's funnier.
Oh my god, the comic version as well, the crazier one.
Yeah. Why that should have been in the comic Time Wars, middle of Time Wars, just staring at Magnus, who's essentially two robots tall, and he's just like, nyeh! And you can't. The text has to be in really small, you have to give him the impression he's shouting and Magnus can't hear him. It's like, I will destroy you.
Would it be one of those things where you'd like him to get progressively small as the comic series gets on? So he's like a normal height in issue 1, and by issue 10, he's really small.
I want no one to comment on it, though.
No. I'd just be one. He'd be like Anya small from the images I've seen of Anya from Spy Family.
Yeah. No, he just gets smaller and smaller. Also, I want him to have the Anya face.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
There we
go. Which one? Because I've seen a lot of Anya meme faces.
The Anya smile face is the Anya face.
Is that the one with the squinty eyes as well?
Yeah. And she's
she looks really sinister. Yeah, I was thinking that one. Yeah. I hope there's a Transformers artist out there who could do that meme. I think it would work. There is no info on the prices, but I would assume it's probably a similar price to the previous DK30 kit. So if that's out, you'll have a better idea. And that's it. Yeah, there's the upgrade as well for the purple one. And I don't really know what else to say. It's the same upgrade kit. If you like your proportions a little bit better, I think this helps out a little bit for the kit. But like Mikey said, I don't think there is enough changes here to really make it, at least for me, that much worth it. But he gets his toy gun as well, which I don't care about his toy gun. Right?
Yeah, I don't like it, if I'm honest.
You mean the design of it?
Yeah.
It was it was fine for the time, I guess, but he has a giant cannon arm, so the gun on the other hand always seemed a bit superfluous.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, Transformer guns don't work differently. At least not in G1. At least not by going off what the cartoon showed. They all went pew pew, and it didn't matter. That was it. Yep. But there you go.
Yeah, so I'd be good without.
Mikey, you told me there was something about Kang Toys that I missed.
Kang Toys have revealed a color test shot of the Thorilla, which is the CTQ-05. This is the crotch of their Predaking.
Oh my god.
For anyone who doesn't remember, their Predaking is technically a 8-bot combiner, plus crab hands. And the new bot, who is a gorilla, will form the lower torso and the groin. He is the weak spot for anyone who's seen Sonic the Hedgehog. And yeah, so this we don't get to see him in codpiece mode, but we do get to see him in his alt mode and in his robot mode. This is probably the best shot we've had of this. We've only had a few test shots before, and the pictures were never the best quality. We get to see the gorilla mode. It looks very, very posable. Also has an opening and closing mouth, which I've never seen on one of these beast modes before. For a gorilla, I mean.
Oh, for a gorilla. Okay, I was gonna ask if you meant Kang Toys or gorilla. No. You mean specific? Yeah, I don't think we've had a gorilla with an opening mouth before. Not that I can think of.
And then robot mode has kind of a Grimlock-y vibe. Grimlock mixed with Kakuryu.
Okay.
In terms of colors and head and stuff like that. Comes with a very chunky hammer. And has blasters on his hands and stuff like that. And a big gun. He looks really good. He honestly looks really good, and he's just kind of convincing me Kang Toys are kind of rocking it with this combiner, because they seem to be putting a lot of effort into the individual bots.
Yes, yeah, I would agree with that.
And I think, considering it looks like it's a fairly simple transformation, it's kind of following standard humanoid to humanoid transformation scheme, I think it's pretty convincing in how it changes. So I'm pretty pleased. What's your thoughts?
I would have liked a little bit more paint on the face specifically, like a bit of either gold paint or silver paint or something, because the only kind of the head is obviously just all black, but then just red eyes for slits. I think just having a little bit more gold on the face or something, because I feel that he's a little bit on the monotone. He's got bits of gold here and there, but he feels very just one note black colored. And I think maybe adding a little bit more to the head would have helped out with that a little bit. Would have been nice. I think it's neat that the hammer looks like it's just going to be the hilt for the giant Predaking sword, which is probably very obvious. But I still like the fact that it is that. You know, you give the monkey the hammer, just kind of makes sense. Overall, though, yeah, I the fact that the gorilla mouth opens up is kind of fun as well. On all, when he's like using his arms as little his arms as legs, you know, or to balance himself, however you want to phrase that. He looks a bit as weird looking as any of the gorilla modes when you pose them like this, I find. But generally speaking, yeah, he's not my favorite of the set, but he seems pretty solid regardless.
Yeah, and I think gorillas look really weird when they go like that in real life, so...
That's fair. But they have a bit more of that weird kind of curved shape to them, don't they?
Yeah,
with
because their spines bend.
Do they bend the wrong way?
No, they just have like a bit of more pronounced curve in their spine than we do.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Like we've all got a curved spine. It's just, you know, theirs is like a bit more dramatic because they've got those big front arms and teeny tiny legs and the smallest testicles to body ratio of any primate.
Well, that's why they're angry.
It's actually why they're calm.
I thought silverback gorillas were pretty intense.
They are in little bursts, but like in comparison to like a chimp or a human. And like chimps and humans both have much larger testicles relative to their body size.
And I mean, let's be fair, chimps. Chimps always go for the testicles.
Yep, because they can see. Like the gorilla doesn't, because there's no point. You can't find them. Mm-hmm. Whereas the chimp knows. The chimp sees.
The horrors of the testicle.
Yep.
Oh my god, fucking chimps.
Yeah. So Andy, take us on away
All
from
right.
chimpanzee testicles.
My favorite thing to take us away from. Flame Toys doing the Kurakara Kiri IDW Rodimus official gallery images and product info. So we'll run through the product info first. This is the big boy expensive one, so woo! Retail price is $400 US dues. Sale, that means when it's coming out, not that it's going to be on sale, is going to be Christmas time, December, it says, of 2022, so this year. 23 centimeters. He's got all the plastics and die-cast you could hope for. Product descriptions: 4 LED units. He's got some in his eyes, his chesticles, 4 in the shoulders. I assume those are for the headlights that have light-up functions, which is obvious, otherwise why have LEDs? With outer armor to become Rodimus Prime. Linkage articulation gimmicks. So I assume that means when you move a part, lots of other parts move around it, like pistons and whatnot, that kind of stuff. Superposable with die-cast parts, with solidity and heaviness. Die-cast is heavy.
I'm assuming this is a Google Translate.
Yeah. I mean, I get what they're saying, but
yeah.
It's like, okay. You will get a powered lightning bow as a bonus part if ordering from d4toys.com. If you don't, then you can go to hell.
I genuinely thought you were about to say D's nuts.
I did as well. It's apparently the official shop of Sen Tai Den. They've got dashes between Sen and then Tai and then Den for some reason. Ami Ami in Japan or Flame Toys events. Is Sentai Den's an official shop? I guess if you're in Japan, you can get the bow that way. I wonder if
Sentai Den and Sentai No. These are Hong Kong shops.
Oh, Hong Kong. Oh.
It's Sentai Den in Mongkok, Hong Kong. So I think it has to do with Sentinel.
Okay.
Like the shop, the company Sentinel. I think that's what it has to do with.
Oh, okay. I remember talking about Sentinel years ago. Years.
They were very, 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 very good.
Yeah, they were super popular. Have they? They must still be going, right? I don't think they've gone away.
I don't know. I haven't looked into them in a while. I know that some of their designers are working on Flame Toys.
Oh, well, that would make sense why there's got this crossover then, I guess. That makes perfect sense. I'll read the quick description of who Hot Rod is, because no one knows. Rodimus, I should say. Rodimus, another name called Hot Rod. Rodimus.
Jesus Christ, I thought we were past this.
Rodimus, another name called Hot Rod, full stop. That was the sentence. He stood up against Zeta Prime and the corrupt Senate. He refused to join the Decepticons, which was led by Megatron. Okay.
Leaded by Megatron.
Oh, I didn't... Yeah, my brain fixed that. Yeah, leaded by Megatron. When Orion Pax had become Optimus Prime and awakened Metroplex, the true identity of Acroplex, if that was right, Rodimus decided to become an Autobot. His unfailing ability to inspire loyalty caused him to become an important role in Autobot.
Now, here's a slight problem with that description.
Okay, one? Oh, okay. Which one?
Which Rodimus is this?
I have no idea. This doesn't sound like any Rodimus Prime or Rodimus or like Hot Rod that I've ever heard of.
No.
What the fuck is Acroplexus or
Acroplex? Vaguely Fall of Cybertron.
Maybe?
I was just thinking, like, inspires everyone to follow him and just, like, click on the design. That design is not from a Rodimus who inspires people to follow him. That is from a large child who thinks that he is literally the bee's knees.
That's the thing. The product description reads like IDW, which we've talked about before, but it's not. Well, not from that description.
Nope. So
I mean, fair play to them. Make their own fiction, but
yeah, but like weird. It's so clear. It's so clear. It's IDW. They even have the smirk face.
Like, can you imagine they do like when they put out Optimus Primal? Did they call him G1 Optimus Prime and talk about him becoming a monkey? Is that the same kind of idea?
Acroplex. Like maybe.
What is that?
TF Wiki. Oh, it is a thing from Transformers. Hang on, Acroplex. Oh my god! Do you know what they're referencing?
Is it a Beast Wars Micromaster base?
No, it's a city.
Oh, okay. It's
from. You're gonna love this.
Am I?
It's from the Transformers book, published March 28th, 2012. Transformers Autocracy.
Oh, no. Really?
Yeah, that is that is very vaguely the backstory how not Hot Rod. If I don't remember Rodimus or Hot Rod being in that book, but
no, I don't.
Vaguely now I've realized what it's from. That is the overview of what happened when Orion became Optimus in Autocracy, a book that God abandoned.
Yeah, well, for good reason, one might argue. These are the images, full product gallery of the Hot Rod, which we've talked about a few times. I just kind of wanted to go through the product description. I don't think our opinion has changed on this much or too much. It's still very fancy. It's still very expensive. Mikey, if you had an extra $400 dues in your bank account, would this be something you'd want to buy? Or would you spend it on something else?
I would. If I had the money to spend on Transformers, like Rodimus wouldn't be my first choice of the Flame Toys kits figures to get.
Well, it's probably kits as well. It wouldn't be your first choice regardless.
No, I do actually need to pick up the Rodimus kit, but I would get Tarn first. Please do him as a kit. You like at the moment, literally every guy you've done as a Kurakara except like Starsaber and Tarn and Victorilio have got a kit.
You mean the interesting ones that don't really get figures ever?
No, and I'm just like, yeah, I love having a Morden Meets the Eye. I love the idea of getting a Morden Meets the Eye Hot Rod kit, and I'm going to call him Hot Rod because I'm feeling like being a dick. But I also want other people. I also want them to redo that Optimus Primal as a kit, since it looks like they're abandoning that action, like kits to action figures line they were doing. But I'm looking at this guy and like I think he looks great. Like he's super posable. The design, it's like Morden Meets the Eye exaggerated, which I like. I like the powered up form, which looks like it does kind of take a little bit from the ongoing era, just a little bit in some of the aesthetics. But like I like the add-ons and everything else. Like he's armored up and in stupid ways, but I like it. And God, I love those weapons. I love the idea of here is a gun that you can add on into a sword. Cool. Yes. That you add on into an anime murder fishing rod.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, you had me at anime murder fishing rod.
I think they missed a beat here with the photos. I think he should have been using the fishing rod as a weapon.
There's one where he's swinging it, and I'm fully assuming, like, that's an action scene from an anime. Like, we've all seen that, like, Sentai where someone has, like, a ridiculous weapon that they shouldn't be using, and it's just like, wah! And it's like, that's the sound they make.
Oh, that was in Zooja.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rhino dude.
The world!
Yeah, that's in Zawoldo. He had a fishing rod.
The suicidal one.
Yes.
How I remember him. How are you feeling? I want to die. Oh, I'm sorry, me wanting to die is inconveniencing you. That's fine.
It's fine.
Thank you for considering me. So I love it. I love it to death. I would love this. I am hopefully in the next couple of months, I'm aiming within the next 2 months to have at least made a dent in my backlog for collecting Flame Toys kits and a few Gundam kits. I've got 3 I want to make sure I pick up because Bug Bite, I want to get him before he gets sold where I know who's got him. Hot Rod because he's very good, and I want to make sure I get Windblade. So those are like my 3 priorities for getting kits.
Wow.
And then like I'm trying to find someone who's got an affordable Phantom Gundam.
What do you consider affordable?
Under 50.
Because it's not actually out just yet, is it? The pre-orders have came and gone.
For a lot of places, but like there's a French place I found that will do it for €40, but I'm just trying to figure out what the shipping would be.
I suppose if push comes to shove, you might have to do Mandarake and hope that the prices aren't stupid.
But like, hey, I checked eBay. Would you like to guess?
Oh no, you never do PB on eBay. No.
No.
I'd say you just don't do Gundam kits on eBay.
No. Like they wanted like €40 for the retail release of the X1.
The retail. Oh, yeah.
Retail, not the, like, I don't actually have the retail release of the Crossbone X1.
The retail release, which is probably about...
It was €18 brand new.
I was going to say a bit less, but yeah, that makes sense.
And I've got the real grade for that form. So No, I'm good, thank you. I only want it for a custom anyway, so no. I've got a custom fully planned out in my head, and I just need to source the bits, and paint, and try not to fuck it up. But anyway, I think he's good. I think he looks excellent. It's Flame Toys. They're the base level of quality I expect them to hit. It looks like they're doing it.
Yeah, I can see that. Has Chubby actually done a video on Flame Toys?
He won't, because they don't transform, which, considering he primarily does action figure collections, I find hilarious.
Maybe he's aggrieved by the fact that they're called Transformers, but if they don't transform, it's kind of a lie, which I guess I could see.
I'm just going to send him every Action Master.
You don't have the money.
Every single one.
Oh my god. Action Masters can be expensive as well. Well, some of them can be.
I'm going to track down a Spreem specifically to send it to him.
No,
mostly because because Bloody Evangelist has started his bloody May the 1st be with you, May the 2nd be with you. So I'm going to kill him and take his Spreem and send it to him. Oh, fuck,
it is. Yeah, I hadn't seen any of those messages on Twitter, so I thankfully avoided it. You remind me. Thank you. I just sent him a message earlier on saying, I will murder you. Mm-hmm, that's fair.
Because he does this every year, and it's so fucking annoying.
I wonder, is there a big push this year for May the 1st? Because, Star Wars is in such a weird place, shall we say?
It's called a hole.
Yeah. I don't think it's getting quite as pushed as it usually used to. Just because of the sadness that Star Wars is in it.
Yeah, because the last big thing they did was a movie that no one liked.
But they did Book of Boba Fett. Everybody liked it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Did they?
No. Well,
they've got Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan's out in May, actually. Yeah, 27th, I think. So
they can ruin another 2 characters, which they might do.
Maybe they learned from the horrible mistakes they made in the movies.
And the Book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian.
I don't know who's showrunning. Those are showrunner things. This is a movie thing. A director matters more in a movie than it does. Just let me have this. All I want
you
is
don't care about Star Wars.
Media. I don't, but I do want decent media.
Okay.
I don't care about Star Wars, which is going to be ironic for something we're talking about later on. But Obi-Wan just don't suck, but it will suck. Who's running it? Oh yeah, Deborah Chow is directing it. That's okay. And who's the showrunner? It doesn't say. That's a bad sign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you never know. It might be good. I doubt it though.
I doubt it as well. I want it to be good because I like sci-fi, and it's been a while since I've seen a good sci-fi.
Star Wars isn't sci-fi. We both know it.
It's been a while since I've seen a good fantasy either.
That's also true.
Oh no, Hayden Christensen's in it. Moving on.
That's it'd be nice.
He's a bad actor, Andy.
He might be better. It's been a few years.
He was a bad actor in the last thing I saw him in. I can't tell you what it was, but...
Oh, I was going to say.
It was in the last 5 years.
Okay. Yeah, well...
He's not a good actor, and he's going to be playing Darth Vader this time.
This is why I said people should be worried, because think about all the other... They ruined Boba Fett, and you could argue there wasn't anything to ruin with Boba Fett, and it's they still managed it, so...
Now he's going to literally be Vader, which I'm fully assuming that there's just going to be a moment, because I'm thinking about how they wrote Kylo, and I'm just thinking oh no, it's just because oh no, Kylo could so easily have been Anakin in terms of performance and everything else.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're going to have a moment where he's just having a childish rant, aren't we? Because
no, I think we're going to see him more crying and weeping over himself killing Padme. I think there's going to be a lot of that.
No.
Which shouldn't be the point.
You portray him as a lost cause until he's redeemed. That's the whole fucking point of Darth Vader.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to do that. I think he's going to be very, very sad. Maybe he's even going to have flashes of Padme's ghost is going to come and berate him. Stuff like that. Tell him he's a horrible person for him to punish himself.
I saw him in Rebels when he met Ahsoka and they didn't play it that way. But I was just oh no, Rebels was made by people who gave a shit.
Yeah, well, that was a while ago, was Rebels. And I wasn't a big fan of Rebels either.
It was an amazing show. It wasn't amazing, but I felt people cared.
Yeah, I could see that. Anyway, Mikey, let me tell you about Rise of the Beasts roleplay toys.
Woo!
Woo indeed. So Transformers Beast Alliance Roleplay Blaster shockingly seems to be Bumblebee themed. I know you're as surprised as I. It seems to have a few action gimmicks, and amusingly enough, the child on the box art looks confused, scared, and wondering why he's there, which is probably what would happen if you put the child onto a battlefield fighting giant robots. So.
He doesn't look comfortable.
He doesn't look happy.
I am heavily armed, sir, and I am not appropriately battle-trained.
If you do not comply and let us take photos of your child, we will kill your parents.
What is Bumblebee doing?
Ninja.
What is that?
He's doing karate.
Is that Volkswagen Bumblebee?
Maybe. He looks curvy. So yeah,
maybe. Oh, it is, because they're marketing it as Bumblebee because they can't market it as Rise of the Beast.
Oh my god, yeah. It's not Buzzworthy.
No!
It's Transformers Bumblebee, but not Buzzworthy.
The one thing you could easily be...
What are you, Buzzworthy? No one knows. No one knows. If you're interested in such a roleplay toy, it's going to be out on the 25th of April, so it should be out by this point. I don't know. I haven't seen people rushing out to buy it, but I could be wrong. In addition to the above, many other vessels are now bringing in more power battlers. Vessels?
What?
Vessels. Why was the article
Many other vessels are... What?
Does it mean shops?
Many
Why
other
is the article
vessels
written
are
like this?
Now bringing in power... What? Oh!
Yeah, right?
Oh. Freights. They're coming in on ships. Fuck's sake.
It doesn't make sense. I thought
nuclear vessels are bringing in our yoys.
I thought they misspelled and they were meaning to say vassals. And I was like, they can't mean vassals either, because that wouldn't make sense. We don't have fiefdoms or kingdoms or anything like that.
Maybe you don't.
Well, that's true. That's a fair point. But yeah, it's a Bumblebee roleplay toy. Rock and roll. That's pretty cool. I may as well take on the other two bits of potential toy news. We have a possible rumored first look image that's maybe not a rumor, but is a rumor. Of the Buzzworthy...
It lives!
It lives. The Buzzworthy Bumblebee Legacy Voyager Dinobot. So this is Dinobot using the Grimlock head and using the colour scheme from the original toy. And if you've forgotten what that colour scheme was, it was flesh-coloured.
Yeah, I've seen this described as a realistic Velociraptor that has been plugged.
How do you... I say no to that. How do you... fair as a Dino Man.
I mean, I like the idea that if you pluck a Velociraptor, this is what you get.
Is this going to tie into the Jurassic Park movie? Is this how Chris Pratt's going to beat that one in the ice fields?
Oh, people are so mad about that, and I don't get it.
Well, when it swims under the water.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. It's just like, cool, why not?
Does it make sense for a cold-blooded animal to be able to do that?
For one thing.
Is it not?
No. That's most dinosaurs are either mesotherms, which means they're basically self-reliant, but not quite as much, or they're endotherms, which means they're warm-blooded. So, you don't have feathers if you're cold-blooded. It's not it's you've got too much insulation. But it's
regardless. Would an animal be able to just like hop into freezing cold water and swim around without any issues?
Some do, like some birds. They'll dive into ice water, and if you watch them underwater, they're properly swimming using their wings, like we would use our arms. I think that's included because the animal's called a pyroraptor, and it's been theorized they're a small island dwelling species that would, if it wanted to go from island to island in a delta, would have to swim across.
Didn't look too small in that trailer, let me tell you that.
Well, that's Jurassic Park. But it's also like something where we barely have any remains of, so it's mostly made up. It's basically in there so they can say, like, look, fully feathered raptors, leave us alone, paleontology.
This is your kind's fault, Mikey.
I didn't start it. I'm more excited about the there is an Asaurus, which is like a giant debt turkey with claws the size of your upper body. That's also fully feathered, and is fully feathered in the trailer, which I love.
Is that the really big one in the trailer? The one that's like it's the biggest carnivore the world has ever seen.
People are so mad about that as well because they're misunderstanding a lot of real world stuff. And please stop applying real world. That's a Giganotosaurus.
Okay.
I
think people are making fun of it because it sounds like a really stupid line, and it is a pretty dumb sounding line, to be fair.
Yeah, but they're not making fun of it because of that. They're going like, that's not realistic. But one, they're saying the Spinosaurus in Jurassic Park is bigger, and it's not. But they're also going on like, in real life, Giganotosaurus wasn't that big, and just like, in real life, none of them were that big. Spinosaurus has like the stumpiest little legs in real life. And it was basically a crocodile in how we used up until like a little while ago we thought it was like knuckle walking. Until we realized it couldn't do that. But so like no, it's not a very tall dinosaur. It's just like chunky.
Hey, dinosaurs don't have to be tall to be intimidating because Lake Placid they were pretty big and they weren't tall.
No,
and big as fuck.
The thing is like Giganotosaurus like big enough dinosaur, but like. For its size, still lighter and weaker than a T-Rex, and I'm pretty sure this thing is going to be portrayed as like the new Indominus. So I'm just going to I'm hoping to enjoy the movie. I'm hoping it's a very good sci-fi nutjob like kaiju fest. I love monster movie whatever, but I am like going to just sort of laugh and just like T-Rex comes in and just gets its ass beat, rather like Miko playing WWE. That's what I'm expecting to happen. Just like Rexy's like, oh god, not the face.
So is the next Jurassic World movie just going to have in Godzilla or a Godzilla-sized dinosaur?
We don't know. After this, they said this is the end of the original 6, and they're going for a soft reboot for the next one. And they said they're cutting they're cutting all connections to the original and just basically continuing on.
I mean, it kind of feels like they did that years ago, to be honest.
Yeah. But I'm hoping like they just give it like an ending. Like
you can't tell me that World was not just a soft reboot anyway.
Oh no, God, it was.
Who are they kidding?
World was like a softer version of what Star Wars tried to do.
Yeah,
which is like, except like World was weirdly more original because Star Wars just went, "Hey, do you remember the New Hope? Do you remember 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 New Hope? Andy, do you remember New Hope?"
I'm aware.
Yeah, and then they did that for 3 films.
Yeah. No. It went progressively worse. It didn't just repeat. It went progressively worse.
True, but anyway, I'm more interested in some toy stuff for Jurassic for the next couple of months. Anyway, which I might mention later on.
Sweet.
But yeah, so this thing looks terrible.
I mean, if you scroll down, it shows like on the TFW article, you can see the original. He's not quite as bright. But I guess it's accurate.
He just looks too much like a naked man, or with the scale of the naked turkey.
A tad. There needed to be some color breakup. I realized that they were going for the original toy color scheme, but I had the original toy. I never thought to myself, wow, this looks so much better than Dinobot's colors in the show. And in 2022, once again, my brain has not gone, you know what looks better than a brown dinosaur, a flesh-colored dinosaur? It's just not true. Have you seen a plucked, parrot? They look fucking creepy. They don't look cute. It doesn't look good. I'm sorry, parrot. I realize you're fucking stressed out, but you look like shit, bro. Sort yourself out.
Wow.
That's it. Tell me that you haven't seen a plucked parrot and you don't think it looks creepy.
And they look like they are ashamed.
Well, they should be. They should be ashamed. It's like owls. Owls are really cute, but when they've got no feathers, man, they're fucking aliens. It's like, I don't like them.
And they turn around. They do the whole turn their head around thing, and you're just like, ha.
Again, with feathers, it's weird, but it's like, oh, it's cute. Without the feathers, you're like, no, don't do that.
They don't look wise.
No, you look scary. So you're not wowed by this, clearly.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry, I'm not.
Nor I. I guess it makes sense.
I do enjoy the idea that someone has literally just plucked a velociraptor. I find that very funny.
Oddly enough, I think them doing the Grimlock was the better repaint. Though I understand why they're doing this, because you can get a third repaint out of it. But if you want a repaint of Dinobot, Grimlock, it has this head sculpt. It looks better, generally speaking. If Hasbro wanted ideas for Raptor colors, I might suggest looking at the Jurassic World films, or just a history book.
Still slightly amazed that for the Jurassic Park crossover they didn't do Dinobot as blue. I'm genuinely still a little surprised.
Oh, yeah, because there's no reason why. Like, as long as you don't call it blue,
well, no, you could,
or like
you
Predacon blue, or
it
like
could have been
Maxima
Predacon Velosa, whatever. And
well,
they had the license. It was a crossover set. They had the license.
Oh, you mean for that one specifically? I thought, like, I meant if you just wanted to do it for this set, if you just wanted to do it outside of the theming, so that you don't need to pay, because they don't have the color scheme on blue, or the license to be like, you can't call that thing blue, or you can't color that toy blue. It's like, we can do that.
Yeah,
they could have done it.
They could have done something approximating it, but if they went too close, they'd get like
sure. Yeah, I mean, you color it blue. And for you see on this version of the figure, so you give him, instead of pink arms, you give him blue arms, and instead of the black kind of pattern, you give him like a red pattern, or something like that. That'll do. Yeah. You know?
Just something, to be honest, like, it doesn't take much to do a better color scheme than this.
Yeah, agreed. But again, like we say, understand why this color scheme is coming out. Don't agree with it, doesn't look good, buy, get it. Another toy that's getting a redo is the Generation Select Cyclonus in quote-unquote toy colors, but I would argue is more accurate to the screen version than the one that came out. I'd say the one that came out in the Kingdom line was much more in line with what the Japanese would do for their version of Cyclonus, which is much more lilac-y and pinky. This version is obviously purple, which is what he was in the show, but they've also given him stickers. Now, I don't know whether these are actually stickers. I assume that they are.
They are. They have a sticker sheet.
So then if you don't put on... foil stickers. If you don't put on these stickers, he's going to look more toon accurate than the one that you already have. And I've never been a fan of the stickers anyway.
I'm just looking at, like... Do you know what I think Japan usually references for their Cyclonus? I bet they usually reference Web World, because he's quite lilac in some shots of that.
Yeah, he is. It's not the version of Cyclonus I think of. I guess I think of Cyclonus as more... Like, it's maybe not this deeper purple, but it's more of the bluey purple.
Yeah. I think it's just like... Cyclonus has, 2 episodes where he does anything significant?
Probably.
And it's like, where like, hey, if you're going to get a reference for Cyclonus, these are the episodes to go for, kind of significant. He's just kind of...
Oh, you mean instead of him just being background characters? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I would agree. That's fair.
And I would say, like, they'll probably go to Web World first. They might go to the movie. But, like, I'm just looking through screenshots of him now. He bounces in... Like, he has no consistent shade.
No.
He bounces between, like, pale to dark to pale to dark. Like, he's super, super dark in the Rebirth.
And if I remember, like, his face goes from, like, fleshy, pinky kind of colored to grey, and then to white, I think, right?
Yeah. And, like, in Headmasters, he is weirdly blue in shots. Which I think is where the Unite Warriors Cyclonus color scheme really comes from.
More than likely. It's just weird. I guess you got to decide what... I think most people would have picked up Cyclonus, but those who have extra money will be like, well, fuck it, I can afford another one. I can't, but that's fair play. You also...
He was on sale in Smith's for a week, and I nearly bought him, and then when I went back to get him, he was gone.
I think he's alright. I think he's worth picking up. You could get this one, I suppose, if you wanted.
He was on sale for a tenner.
Oh, never mind then. This version of Cyclonus also comes with Nightstick. He just seems to be a retool of one of the, I'm going to call them crappy US Target Masters, rather than the slightly better, more articulate, more fun Japanese ones. Is that unfair to say? I don't think so. I think that's pretty accurate.
Did they say what he's a retool of? Let me see here.
He looks... He's definitely not one of the Japanese ones. He's based off one of the American ones. Definitely.
A retool of Siege Blowpipe.
There you go.
Who, was pretty crappy.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice that, he gets his Target Master, but he doesn't look like Nightstick. He just looks like a Target Master, which I could argue that's what all of them look like, but I think Blowpipe was a little bit more unique, or you could have made him a little bit more unique if you wanted to. Either way, he comes with 2 extra blast effects, which are purple in nature, so that's cool. Purple boy. 2 figures, which is the thing, 2 accessories, which are the things, the sticker sheet and the instructions, and that's all you get. There's also a video, which is just the toy spinning around a little turntable. Mikey, what do you think? Did I ask you your opinion on the last thing? No, I did. That was Grimlock. What about this?
I like the purple. Like, the blue is not stickers. The blue is accents.
That's true.
That's
not as nice. Yeah.
That is more toy. And I think, like, the blue kind of gives the impression his horns are a lot shorter than they are.
Okay.
So, like, it kind of, like, looking at his horns, like, it looks like he's got these, like, short little horns, but then there's actually grey behind them, which is kind of throwing me off.
I think that might be a little bit because the background's white as well, which isn't helping. No. But I see where you're coming from.
Yeah. I like the purple. I overall like how this looks. I would not say I like it enough to go buy this over a cheaper store version. Mm-hmm. And I've got no interest in stickers. In general, in fact, doing model kits and stuff has kind of made me load the feckers because I spent so long trying to get the Soto stickers on the Gaim kits.
They're not. Yeah, they can be expensive.
I ended up painting a lot of that, thank God. But I think he looks good, and Nightstick's just like cool, whatever. No, I think he looks decent. He looks. I think he translates pretty well to this color scheme. It's just like not enough for me to be paying Selects prices.
Yeah, I could see that. But I guess this is the place you do a Selects figure, I guess, or Buzzworthy, I guess.
Whoever he may be.
Yeah, whoever he may be. Yeah. But there you go. Do you want to take us on, Mikey, and round us up with some news for Conventions?
Convention. Before we do that, there was a bit of news that came out that I think you're going to want to hear. I think you're going to also want to be sitting down for this.
Oh.
So, during the week, Mark, who runs one of the Instagrams, who is Mark from the Fan First Fridays, man with a beard, as I call him, he was answering some questions, and a fellow named Leonardo Cabasa, which is just fantastic, said, "Hello, Mark. Given the recent reveal of Titans-class Cybertron Metroplex a few days ago, is there any chance that Armada Optimus prototype from 2019 can be considered for Legacy now that the Unicron trilogy is being represented in this line?" A naive question, I would say, but, However, Mark replied and just said, "Here's some food for thought for you, Leonardo. That prototype was shown with Made by Takar's regional base team. It was just a static model that did not have the capability to do super mode. Hope that little tidbit interests you."
Fuck you.
Apart from the fact that that's a very polite fuck off.
Yeah.
But also, we finally know what the story was with that. It was a very, very basic prototype that someone did up that was probably for a masterpiece or something that never got okayed. Because I remember it came out at the time where they were talking about what figure do you want to do for masterpiece, and like you could pick like Armada or blah blah blah, different lines.
Yeah,
came out not long before then, or not long after then rather. And I suspect, in fact I'm not alone in this. A lot of people are suspecting that this is something that was never going to see the light of day, and it was just kind of like, well, we mocked this up, we might as well put it out.
Well, isn't that fun? Isn't that just a fuck you? The thing that we all kind of hoped for, even people like me and you who don't really care for the Unicron trilogy, were like, Armada Optimus Prime would be neat. Yeah,
I like that design. I love that design.
Agreed.
And I love the black version, and the only time that show is good is when Optimus is black.
And let's be honest as well, I think most people like the look of the fans hobby one that came out, whatever that was called.
Naval Commander, I think.
That's it, yeah. Good call.
As I said online, our child was never meant to be.
I guess not. Throw him away.
Yeah. So yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in because
when Mark told us this, was he like, haha, fuck you, it's not G1?
The tone of that just felt unpleasant a little bit, but I'm just looking at a picture of it now, and it's just like, I'm sorry, but prototype or not, just do it as an action figure and I'd get it. Like, it just looks very good.
Yeah, it didn't look bad from what I remembered.
Anyway, so convention guests, we have 4 to announce, Andy. 4. So TFCon have announced that they're getting Andrew Wildman, the man who draws screaming faces, the Wildman face from the Marvel eras. He, of course, worked on the original Marvel run, particularly the tail end, when Simon Furman came in, and him and Simon would go on to form Wildfur, a company that I don't know if it does anything.
No, Wild Force.
No. That is on my YouTube feed at the moment because I don't know, but just coming up in my recommendations. Someone's doing a video about Power Rangers Wild Force.
Yeah.
Cool. All I remember about Power Rangers Wild Force is that it was an okay show back in the day, and the guy who played Red tried to murder someone with a samurai sword.
Oh my god. Yeah. I remember you telling me that. Yeah, no, the show was alright. It was one of the better Power Rangers shows, I felt.
I remember it had living Zords, and the Zords were like semi-character, not like Japanese level characters, but
of course.
they were semi-characters, which I always was more interested in, but I still am. But so he's going to be there all weekend for signing, prints, and the like, being presented by ages 3 and up. Go to tfcon.ca for tickets. TF Nation announced 3 guests. I'm kind of ordering them in ascending order of broad fandom importance, I'm going to say. Mm-hmm. So first one is Matt Ferguson. So I've never heard of Matt Ferguson before now. Which, when it comes to Transformers, it's pretty rare. But he is a UK-based artist who has done design and artwork for things like Star Wars, the MCU, the Disney properties, Jurassic Park, stuff like that. He does posters, a lot of posters.
Okay.
But for Transformers, his contribution was that he worked on the cover for the Blu-ray 4K remaster of the 86 movie.
Mm.
So, he did the cover. He also did some I'm just looking at some of his work. He did a series of sort of like sketches that are very reminiscent of the sort of what am I going to try and say? Animation cells for the era. His art's good. I can't say this is one of the ones that's making me like leap out of my my boots. But
no, I guess it's a new guest.
It is new, and his picture makes him look like Wolverine.
Oh my god, you're right. Oh my god.
So if he's short, run. So yeah, hopefully he'll be interesting and everything else, but he's gonna be there for signing and signatures and everything else. So apart from him, we've got Jim Sorensen, who at this stage is basically just. Has probably been sitting there through the pandemic saying, I'm going this year. No, you're not, honey. I am going this year. You can't stop me. There's a pandemic. I'm going! I want to go. I have my hat. I want them to see my hat. I got a new hat. We all love Jim. So Jim Sorensen will be a guest this year. He has worked on a lot of sort of archival elements of the fandom. So he did for IDW, 2 of the big things was he did the very, very, very well-loved and well-received Allspark Almanac for Transformers Animated. And he did the Legacy Art of Transformers packaging book, which basically collected lots of different packaging from everything else. And loads and loads and loads of other different ones going back over the years. And he also contributed to some fiction for the Transformers Collector Club and a bunch of other stuff. So Jim is going to be there. The picture they chose is him dressed as believe Star Trek 6 era Federation officer.
Okay.
I'm going by the collar. And he has the expression of a man who thinks he's living in the 80s. And the last one announced is probably the biggest name. Gary Chalk will be coming back this year. So he is, of course, Gary Chalk played many characters in many shows. I remember him most as the Russian general from Stargate.
Yes. I remember him there.
Yep, who I believe they killed off screen. But he's, of course, Optimus Primal and Optimus Prime from the 90s and 2000s. So, if you want to meet this trio of lovely gents, you can go to tfnation.com or .co.uk rather, and book your tickets. It's going to run from August 12th to 14th. Hilton Birmingham Metropole Hotel. Hopefully we'll all actually be able to go, and if we're not able to go, people will be able to go, because I just don't want everyone to hear the pandemic happened again. Everything cancelled.
Feels like it's been a while since Gary Chalk was at a UK Transformers convention as well, right?
Been a good while. 3 or 4 years, I think, at least.
Yeah, so that's good.
So that is basically the news.
Oh my god. Well, Mikey, what you been up to this week? What you done for fun, son?
What I done for fun? I have been busy. Very, 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 very busy. But so I didn't actually have much time for fun until the day before yesterday. So media-wise, I'm behind on a few things. I haven't seen Shield Hero or a few other things, but I am going to go through what I did watch. First up, this came out of nowhere. Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid est basically an OVA episode came out, or an episode 13, depending on your point of view. And for anyone who doesn't know, Dragon Maid is a story of a dragon who falls in love with a very grumpy woman and becomes her maid. And it is the gayest show. Like the gayest popular anime I know of that isn't something like literally this is a show about gay people being gay. But it's a very gay show, but it's also very fun and very funny, and it has combat animation that you should not have in a comedy show like this. Like,
it's very good.
It's a very good looking show. It's ridiculous. And I had this one is basically the young dragon Kana's friend from America comes visit, and it's basically everyone's kind of guiding her around Japan, and she meets everyone and gets to know all the weirdos, and they do like VR and stuff like that. And it's just very funny and quite heartwarming and very, very well animated, and I just enjoyed it. It was a fun time. I'm so glad that after all the horrible things that happened to the company who did this, we still got this great show with no drop in quality. Years later than we should have because of some asshole with a lighter. But I'm so glad it ended up being as good as it was, and I hope they keep on making it. Because it's rife for just continued fun. Is
it like based off a manga or something like that, or is it original? I
believe so. I think it's a manga. Let's see.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
She's Dragon Maid. Manga. Started in... When did it start?
1979.
2013.
Okay. I say it is pretty old.
Yeah.
Nearly 10 years. Good damn. Goddamn.
You know what started around the same time, Andy?
Oh, what?
Monster Musume. Which is still going. Which is still going despite the fact that the author had to take like several like year-long mental health breaks, but...
Oh, wow. Really?
Because I think he had like a nervous breakdown.
Oh, that sucks. Jeez.
But he's still making it. Fair play to him.
Yeah.
But it's just like, hey.
Anime.
Where's the season 2, boy?
Yeah, where's the dating video game simulator?
Yeah. There was a video game in Japan, but it got closed there a few years ago.
Wait, what? Really?
There was an MMO where
based on Monster Musume.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. What do you do?
Yeah.
What do you play as? Do you play as nameless dude trying to get ladies, or do you play as lady?
I don't know, but I do think that probably lost some of the elements that make that show work.
Yeah, I can't imagine like an online game would work for Monster Musume. That it just doesn't. In my mind, I can't even think what you do.
Like, I looked it up when it ran for a good few years.
Like, if you told me the game was based kind of like The Sims, but like a really weird, kooky version where you got to try and keep your guy alive and keep the girls happy, I'd be like, yeah, I could see how that would work as a game. That makes sense.
Yep, definitely the keeping alive thing is important.
Yes.
Anyway,
yes.
So, I didn't get to watch that. I watched the next episode of I'm Quitting Heroing, which was the one about the hero who wants to join the demon's army now. And it started like hinting at a really fucking dark backstory.
For whom?
For him. Just like in like a modern day world where he's like jumping out of a helicopter and slicing things in half and everyone's like judging him for murdering things. And I'm just like, and then it cuts to wacky comedy, and I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? But still fun, still funny, and enjoyable. And I'm curious now. I suppose the intro suddenly makes a bit more sense if they're going down that route. Okay. But I also watched Digimon Ghost Game episode 24, which was really dark. Quite dark. This one, quite dark. Basic story is a Digimon who hasn't materialized fully in the real world, is kind of inhabiting a little house cleaning robot thing, falls in love with the human who owns it, and is also a bit of a yandere. Not a humanoid Digimon either. It's basically kind of a living plant.
Oh, the Digimon's a yandere. Yeah, okay.
And then it basically is trying to figure out how to turn the human into its own Digimon species so they can be in love and together. Human doesn't know it exists. So it's going around and basically testing a poison that is like turning people half into it. So people keep on, like, really quite unpleasantly animated, like, I'm holding your mouth open with tendrils as I drop this into your mouth and then your shoulder explodes into vines.
Oh, no.
And I don't mind spoiling this because it's like, I think it's really important for why this episode works. So, and Andy will never watch it. But if you are watching Digimon, skip ahead 2 minutes. At the end, the Digimon basically, like, the boy convinces it that you can't turn me into a Digimon. Oh, I need to become a human, and gives itself the poison. And then it basically starts falling apart with, like, sick sounds. Like, it was, like, vomiting, and it's, like, slowly stressing out. That's like, I'm getting rid of everything that makes us different. I've gotten rid of it all. It's going to go well. It's going to go well. And then as it's dying, and it's starting to cry, it's like, it's not going well. And then it literally dies. And I was just like...
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, just like, boy howdy, those Japanese kids are getting their surprise with this one.
Yeah. Remember when people said, oh, can you believe what they did to kids when Optimus Prime died?
Optimus Prime was lying there on the table just like, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. Hot Rod wasn't worth it.
Nope.
But no, quite a well done episode. Like I said last week, I think Ghost Game needs to pick up in terms of actually having a plot, but I think these individual episodes are really strongly done. They're going on a break next week, and then they should be back out. But like they got, like basically Toei got hacked, and that's why their production got slowed down so much. So
oh, really? Well, was any info was leaked, or was it just that the system was hacked?
From what I understand, there was some leakage, but most of it was system hack, which like shut down production of some of their shows for like a month.
Oh, that's annoying. Why? Why do it?
Why did anyone do anything? For some people, they just want to watch the world burn. And...
That's true enough.
So what else was there from this list? Rewatched Jurassic Park during the week.
I hear it's terrible.
It's aged so badly, but yeah, no, it's a phenomenal film and it's so well done. And I'm seeing things I haven't watched it in a while, and I'm seeing things I hadn't noticed before, if I'm honest. I also had fun like looking for like production stuff. Like the T-Rex got really wet during the filming of the big scene. Yeah. But it's like when I was like looking for it, I could see the bits where like you could see the animatronic like jerking a bit, and just like, oh no. You're getting weighed down. I saw the bit where the tooth breaks off and goes flying, and and you could actually see like on a pause screen you can see the metal peg.
Oh God,
where it was and stuff like that. But it's just like it says so much about like how well made it is that you'll never notice that unless you're looking for it.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, the first film's just amazing.
Yep. So that got me thinking about the new toy line and everything else. I haven't bought anything, but they have announced for the collection, the articulated collector line. They're doing that. They've shown the T-Rex.
Is this the Hammond collector's line? Is that a different line?
Yeah, Hammond, 3 3/4 inch line. So it looks really good. Some of the paint works a little much around the mouth, but overall I think the figure itself looks really good. I'm hoping it gets I would like it to get retooled, like if they do the Lost World Rex or something like that, or like Jurassic World, but it won't be. They'll just do a straight repaint, because like the Raptor in that line is being sold. It's a painted as Jurassic Park Raptor, but it's blue. It's the blue design. So they're just gonna like repaint it, and they're not gonna retool, which like that's what they do. No one but me cares.
I don't think that's true. I bet there are a lot of people who are like pretty excited about it, right?
No, yeah. Like people are definitely interested in the line, but
actually, are your paleontologist friends interested? Do they think it's too childish to want to collect toy dinosaurs?
Oh no, they they have so many toy dinosaurs, Andy. It's not even funny. And like they have those static models and like with just opening mouths that I don't really get into.
Yeah, because there's nothing to him.
Yeah, but like you should see the dinosaurtoyblog.com. It is something else. But TV wise and stuff, that's really it. I've been playing a video game. I'm nearly finished it, I think. I've been playing the Fallen Order. I always want to call it the Force Unleashed, but
yeah, we talked about that last week, didn't we? You were going to give it a try.
I bought it last week.
Wow.
So I'm nearly finished. So it is an original story, sort of set in the post Clone Wars era. You're playing a guy called Cal. And he is a Jedi who survived. He is a youngling who survived the cull, and he's been in hiding. He gets revealed when he tries to save his friend, and he's being hunted down by the Inquisitors, which are a bunch of ex-Jedi who got tortured into being murderers. And he meets a former Jedi, and they're going on a trip to try and find a record that will help them find Force-sensitive youths across the galaxy and restart the Jedi Order, because that goes so well historically.
Fucking youths.
Story-wise, it's pretty simple. I don't think they spend a ton of time like developing character or anything like that, but it's breezy and it's not like bad. It's just like, okay, like it's not a deep or meaningful story, and it's not really going out of its way. It's just set up.
I can't remember what made you want it again.
It got really good gameplay reviews, and people said the story was solid, and I think the story is decent. I don't think the story would fall like into anything remarkable to me. But yeah, BD1, weirdly enough, is a standout character, and
that's the droid, isn't it?
Yeah, mostly for one scene. But some of the world building's pretty decent. It just I think they could have done a better job of developing the relationships between the main three.
Okay.
Although we just met a new character, and she's pretty interesting. A Night Sister, so she's basically a witch. Visuals are really good. World visuals are great. Facial visuals are decent, but there's some weird stuff. Like some of it's trying to like go for like we're very much lifting from the voice actor. So Forrest Whitaker is in it, so there's a character based off him, and everyone's kind of based off someone. Some of them look like Cal looks decent, but his like new mentor figure, she doesn't. She has giant eyes, and I've seen the woman who plays her, and she does not have giant eyes. And there's the occasional like running, like some of the animations are mostly really good, but like the running animation is a bit much. I'll just say you have to see it to believe it. It's also a bit glitchy at times. Apparently it's been patched to heaven and back. So I've missed like the worst glitches, but there's been graphical ones and a couple of audio ones, but nothing. I've seen worse. I've seen much worse than that.
Okay.
Like, in terms of combat, it's kind of like Elden Ring meets The Witcher would be how I describe it.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people describe it as Dark Souls-y in terms of the combat system. It's like
basic combat, you have square for attacks, you have triangle for a heavy attack, you have force powers, and you basically like combine them. So the way combat usually works is you either dodge and go for a sort of like a backstab or they're not blocking stab. It works well on animals, does not work well on humans. Humans, you have to basically like hit them while they're blocking. They'll parry, and you've got to try and parry them before they get another hit in. And then you basically you wear down their block meter, and then when their block meters wear down, you go for the attack. It's fun enough. It is like I'm playing on master difficulty, which is I think the highest or the second highest, and I do die a lot. You do die a lot in this game. And you don't have a ton of heal. You've only got 2 healing items at any time. And it does take time to use them, which means you have to use a force power called slowdown to get the chance to use it usually. And yeah, so the combat's fun, but like I said, it's Witcher. It reminds me more of a Witcher because there's not a lot of variety. Your strong attacks are tied to your force gauge. So you have to decide whether you want to use a triangle button or the force powers, and you're usually better off using force powers. So I very rarely do anything but the square attack, and there's no real combos. You've got different types of lightsabers, but there's not a huge difference. It's the single blade or the double blade, and the double blade, it just basically, if you have more than one enemy, it hits more often. I think the combat needed a lot of, I'd say 3 more passes, because I think what they were, in their heads, I think they were like Elden Ring meets God of War, and like, this ain't God of War.
Right.
In terms of combat and variety. I also think it needed to work on its RPG elements, because you can backtrack to different areas and and jump, and once you get extra abilities and stuff like that, and go to new areas. The problem is everything in the boxes, like the loot boxes everywhere, or there are boxes everywhere rather, and they're skins and paint jobs. And like, great, I don't have to pay for them, but why am I opening them? They do not have any of, and like they're everywhere, and like there's one bit's like, oh, we should go back and visit this crashed ship, and I looked it up online because I said I'm not doing an entire side quest on the basis of getting some skins and stuff, and I'm just like, you unlock the following skins. So I think the quest element, I think they should have gone more action RPG and had a lot more side elements and made the game bigger, but I don't think EA would have let them.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
It's a fun,
it's EA.
Yeah. I think overall it's a fun game. It's got flaws. I don't think, like, I was watching some reviews yesterday and I was just like, people are giving it 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, and I'm just like, it's a 7. It's a comfortable 7, but it's a 7.
What do you think made them go as high as they did? Or do you think you're just a bit harsher compared to them?
I don't know. Like, one of them, Angry Joe, and he gave it an 8. For his game rating.
Yeah, usually Joe's usually fine for games.
And I think he was just so pleased to have a Star Wars game that wasn't terrible.
Yeah, I could believe that too.
And the rest were like, to be honest, they were like mostly game reviewer scores, and we all know they're bullshit.
Sure.
So I think at its worst it's a 6, and I think at its best it's a 7, and I think it usually sits. I think it usually sits around a 7. I got it on sale. I think that was the right price to get it. I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to finishing the game, but it's not one I'm ever coming back to.
Wow. So you're gonna get rid of it once it's all done?
I might hang on to it. Like, I might get rid of it. I don't know. I'll probably delete it just to free up space, to be honest.
When Bloodborne? When?
No, I'm afraid this has not convinced me to try that, because here's the thing, Andy. One thing I don't like is having to replay the same boss 20 times.
Well, you just need to be better at it. You need to stop being lame.
I don't enjoy that. And
you
then
don't
you tell
enjoy
me like
being
it's the
skillful.
same. I don't enjoy hitting square over and over and over and over and over and over, dodge, over and over and dodge, over dodge, over and over and over, dodge, with no progress.
Mm-hmm.
And like until an hour later, and I finally go, and for some reason, just some random reason, this run feels easy, and it's not because of skill.
Well, then that's not like a Dark Souls game.
Well, I'm going to say, Andy,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say, I played a bit of Bloodborne, and I found it super repetitive and boring. And I think that's going to be my feeling about that style of game pretty much until the day I die.
Wow. So you're just going to be the one dude who doesn't like those games.
No. I have seen many people who don't, because I have looked into it, because I didn't want to feel alone. So I do not think Bloodborne is one of the best games ever made.
Well,
I'm
I would
very
disagree.
comfortable saying that. I played it for 5-6 hours, and I couldn't get into it.
I would
just
100% disagree with you.
And I couldn't. You know my thing about story, and don't tell me like, well, there's story if you go looking for it, because that's not how you structure a single player game in my mind. Okay, so I'm going to let it go. This is not like Independence Day where I'm going off on one, because I respect that Bloodborne is just a game not made for me, unlike Independence Day, which is just shite.
It's fun though. Both of them are fun.
And I'm going to finish up what I'm talking, because I bought toys.
Oh my god.
And it's topical as well.
Oh my god, even weirder.
Smiths got in the Jurassic Park set.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you got that this week.
Yeah, and so originally they were charging $150 for it. Then they knocked off $30, so it was down to the original price I would have paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
Except if I'd bought it online like I was going to from Amazon, I'd have paid shipping and customs.
Ugh.
So I got it way cheaper than I would have.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So, it's my first time with the Megatron mold, and definitely my first time with JP93.
What's he based off again? I can't remember.
He's new. He's brand new.
He's not based off of anything?
Nope. He's a brand new mold.
Yeah.
Tyrannicon Rexy, Megatron. The new head sculpt is really good, but the black does kind of wash out a lot of the detail. Overall, I think the robot mode is actually, like, in terms of I'm going to say the changes she made to Megatron first. In terms of colors, I think really good. It looks way better in person than it did on promo shots. In terms of an action figure, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's got good weight. Really good posability in robot mode. Way better than I was expecting. It's got a lot of personality, and it somehow managed to, it's making the T-Rex head work. T-Rex mode, it's the best posable T-Rex I've ever handled.
Mm-hmm.
There aren't many, but it's the best one. It's really solid. Like, it completely avoids the problem a lot of these kind of action figure dinosaurs have of balance. It's just solid. All the key joints are there. Looks really good. Plays really good. Feels really good. And holy shit, this paint job. Like, I don't think I'm trying to remember if I've ever seen a Transformer that's not like a crazy masterpiece or something like that. That's this, or a third party, that's this well painted. And I can't think of one. The paint job is absolutely stellar. It's shocking how good it is in person. Like, it's genuinely shocking. Like, this paint job's more accurate than the paint job on the Hammond collection figure.
Is there a difference in price between the two, out of interest? There should be.
I mean, this is more expensive. But
so, I guess that's probably why then, right?
Yeah, well, I suppose. But, like, it's also, I think it's more posable. So, like, I do want that Rex, but I'm also like, I already have a really good posable Rexy.
And it transforms too.
And it transforms. But, like, I was genuine. Like, I saw it in the box and I took it out and I was just like, oh my god, it feels so good. It's like, it feels so solid. It's such a solid figure, but, like, the paint job doesn't seem to be chippable or anything like that. It's just a really good, durable, well done paint job. And
I mean, obviously, don't put that to the test. Don't be
I
around.
I have to be honest.
Oh no!
Like, I've transformed this 7 or 8 times, and it's a Megatron transformation, so it's a bit clashy.
Sure. Yeah.
So you really can't avoid risking it. The only thing I don't love is sometimes the rubbery soft parts, the soft plastic, can need a little pushing.
Yeah. It's how it's on the tail part, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't feel great. I don't know about you, but at least for my Megatron, it felt like that it could cause problems of them slowly being pulled off in the future because they're glued down, I assume.
Yeah, it's something I noticed. Now, from what I understand, this figure is more solid than the Megatron.
Oh.
I've asked people, and they've just said, yeah, no, she feels better than the Megatron.
Did they say how?
Sturdier, better plastic quality, better tolerances.
Well, I hope so for the money spike.
The only complaint I have is that I have to use a part separator on her groin.
I can see that. Yeah, it's tight. It's tight.
But she's a 10 out of 10 figure, and I wasn't expecting to say that when I picked her up. I picked her up because I am a nerd who is going to keep the box because the box was great. But she is a 10 out of 10. And
yay! Worth it for set then.
She is fantastic. Like, she feels like a non-retail toy, and which is what she should feel like.
Yes.
She feels like something you could not buy at the retail price.
That's good.
And JP93, the alt mode is incredibly cool. I've got him in robot mode. I'm going to transform him as I'm talking. And I would have tried transforming Tyrannicon, but that is involved.
Again, a bit too faffy and clashy, like you say.
Yeah. So he's the Jeep Explorer, Ford Explorer rather. And he is technically the wrong one, because he's 04, and on the box he's the one, like, Rexy is standing on an Explorer, and then he's sort of facing her, and I just like to say the one she is standing on is 04.
Nerd!
He is the one that Lex, Tim, and Gennaro are riding in.
Nerd!
He is really cool in the vehicle mode. Like, again, just a stellar paint scheme. Very solid feeling in vehicle mode. Like, does not feel he's going to give way in any way. Some people are complaining about the way the text lines up on the doors.
Okay.
I found it's kind of like how you position, like, you just have to make sure you have everything squeezed up properly, and he goes together fine for that.
Right.
I never really have a problem with that.
Do you think theirs just could have paint app issues? Or do you think it's just an alignment thing, like you mentioned?
It could be paint app issues, because I also had the advantage of being able to look before I picked everything up. So, another advantage of shopping in person on him. His transformation is simpler than I think a lot of people would have expected, but satisfying. Simple but satisfying, I would say. Like, he comes together really clicky, rather. Like, he feels nice when he comes together in vehicle mode. I'm just doing it now. Like, it just feels solid. You got nice little auditory moments. And like I said, the vehicle mode is really good. The robot mode isn't. I really like how the shoulders work in transformation, but the robot mode is, what's the word? Flimsy.
Oh, is it something you could fix with like glue and nail polish or something?
Maybe. One problem I have with the robot mode is that there's a lot of clear plastic on the joints.
Ew.
At least on sort of some key joints, and it's one of those things like I'm just going to be cautious with him in the long term. I have the advantage my weather is not really as toxic to clear plastic as it can be in other places, but
sure.
Always be aware. But like his ball joints are quite loose in the arms, and like they're not floppy, but it's that kind of like you touch them and they feel like they're giving way too easily. So I'm probably gonna have to try and tighten them up. He doesn't have a waist swivel, and there's no excuse.
Why doesn't he have a waist swivel?
There's no reason for him not to have a waist swivel. Like the only thing I can think of is like, his backpack, which is the roof of the car, might get in the way, except the backpack is it's attached on the torso, so he could swivel easily with it. He's got a surprisingly expressive posability as is, but man, he needed that waist swivel. Really good head sculpt. His head sculpt is a combination of Grant and Muldoon, which I thought was clever, and I really like the gun because it's Muldoon's shotgun. So that those are like really nice touches, and like really, I can look at this and say like there are design elements here that someone like, these are fun, these are cool, I like them, but this doesn't feel like it was designed by the main team. It's not quite like Titanium's not designed by the main team.
Oh God,
it's not quite that bad.
Well, that's
but
good. Thank God.
It definitely feels like whoever designed this is not a regular Transformer designer. No, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was Mark, but he is the lesser one of the set. He is definitely filling out the price point. And considering he's a new tooling, that's kind of shocking. I don't think we'll ever see this one used again as well. I think this is going to be like that Top Gun one and done. As a set,
do you think it feels better than the Top Gun one? Because I remember everybody said how bad the Top Gun one was. Ugh.
I've never handled it, but I think he to me he looks a lot better than that. Like he looks like a Transformer. Agree. He looks like a Transformer, but like something like, I don't like how his back tabs at all, because it's just this one tiny little peg. It's like that's not sturdy. He just feels flimsy in the hand. He looks cool. I really like the design. I like the robot and I like the vehicle. It's just like he's not a handleable thing. Certainly, like I said, like transforming him from robot to vehicle, I like that process. But it's just like once you get him into robot, I'm not in love with the figure. As a set, so I would say he's probably a 5. Once you factor in how much I like the vehicle mode and how good the paint job is, and how I like the brief but the definitely their transformation engineering, he gets up to a 5. But that robot mode really lets him down. She's a 10. I'd say it's a 9 out of 10 set.
Yeah, that's still pretty good.
And in terms of an experience as a Transformers collector and an experience as a Jurassic Park fan, this is kind of holy grail kind of shit.
Wow.
I would really recommend this. Certainly if you have a crossover of those two and you haven't picked it up yet, yeah, get it. If you know someone in the UK who can proxy it to you, or in Ireland who can proxy it to you or whatever, yeah, you'll get it cheaper than you would if you bought it online. Certainly now. And I think if you are into Jurassic Park and Transformers, you kind of have to buy this.
Right.
And I don't often say stuff like that. I don't say oh, you need this toy. You need this toy. This set, like, you could not open this set and it would look amazing. That's how good it is. And then you get them in hand, and Rexy and Tyrannicon, she's so good, and the visuals on JP93 are so nice, and like if I had the balls, I'd buy another one. If I had the balls and the money, I'd buy another one and try doing like customizing her into the Jurassic World version, with scars and things. I saw someone said they were going to do it with a Dremel. I think it was Stupid Monkey on Twitter, and I was just like, you're a braver man than I ever would be. But
might just be experience too.
Yeah. Still braver. But I really, really like. I certainly recommend if you don't have the Megatron to try getting some version of that mold. But I really recommend the set to anyone who crosses over like that, and it's just a really nice set, like with a disappointing element, but it's not enough to take away from the whole experience for me.
Well, that's good.
So I was very happy over this for a few days, and it's been a long time.
Yeah, because you've been waiting for it for ages.
Yeah, and it's been a long time since I've been this happy with a purchase. Like last time I was like this pleased, it was the Shatterglass Optimus.
Wow,
that's been a while. So I've got my Akane and my Rexy, my lovely ladies. Anyway, still have to pick up that Megatron at some point.
Oh, the Shatterglass one.
One day. Anyway, Andy, what about you?
What have I been up to? In terms of watching stuff, I've been watching episodes of Next Gen and Voyager for bedtime watching, because I was like, you know what, it'd be nice to watch some good Star Trek episodes.
You're not watching Picard?
No, I don't want to hurt myself, because I know what happens. I've been watching people talk about it, and it is a literal nightmare if you like Star Trek.
You don't find undermining the whole point of the Federation as semi-utopia is a helpful thing for discussing large, important modern issues?
They've been doing that for a long time now.
But now they've done it on Earth. Now people can be poor.
And druggies.
And can be rejected on their sexual preferences and their race.
Even though that was never what Star Trek ever did before. Starfleet never did that before. I can't believe they said, nah, we're not going to have 7 of 9 join Starfleet. I can't believe it.
I can see the meeting where someone says we want to touch on these things, and I can also see the meeting did not involve anyone who'd seen Star Trek and realized the whole point of the alien races was a way of touching on those things.
Well, it's not only that, it's just like previous things. It's like, do you remember Nog, the first Ferengi? It's like, do you remember Worf, first Klingon? Yeah. You know, there were Romulans who were in Starfleet as well.
Her whole thing is like, I'm a human who's a bit of a cyborg.
Yeah, and even apparently Janeway was at the meeting and said, hey, she's good, here are the records of her helping out, and they were still like, nah, she's got Borg in her, she can go fuck herself. That's like, sheer fucking hubris, I suppose. And
I know how that episode ends as well.
So do I.
Interesting continuity effect.
If you say so.
Everyone, Andy, just needs a hug.
Yep. The Star Trek's been bad since the J.J. Abrams first movie. I will say that the first movie is fun. It's not very Star Trekky, but it's fun enough. And then it drastically goes downhill from there.
I've been told
just keeps going down.
I've been told I should watch Prodigy because it's basically Farscape.
I've been told that Prodigy is another show that's been coerced into being a Star Trek show, which from the looks of what I saw, I could believe. And I'm like, nah, I'm good.
If it is basically Farscape, then yes, it would be. But you do market something by telling me it's kind of like, if you like Farscape, you'll like this. Because I did like Farscape.
Then why is it Star Trek?
Because they know what sells, Andy.
Does Star Trek sell now?
Yes, it's unfortunately making more money than it has in years.
Oh god, but it's so much more stupid.
And Alex Kurtzman will probably be around for a long time.
But he's so terrible. Terrible.
He did to Star Trek what he did to us.
Yeah. No, I'd say what he's doing to Star Trek is much worse than what he did with Transformers. I'd say it's much worse.
I don't want to get into, because some people are saying, like, some people are now screaming. I've seen this argument a lot, and I think it's really weird to go like, well, you don't like it because it left it, and you just never realized that Star Trek was leftist.
Oh my
and
god,
like, I am leftist. If someone can be leftist,
so asinine.
I'm just like, no, like, Star Trek's always examined these things. Star Trek had fucking transgender episodes in the fucking 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, granted, one of them was about Quark being a creep, but that is one of the worst episodes of television ever made. But they did cover these things. Like, Star Trek has the first on-screen same-gender kiss.
Yep.
And what I always liked about Star Trek is that it did things in a way that got you thinking and considering. Like, you had to think about them. You didn't just have... It wasn't like... It was... Okay, so it was arguing for its political views and its views on freedom and self-reliance and choice and everything else. Which is good, because I agree with most of those choices. But the way it did it was like, it presented them and said, now you think about it.
It also presented decent arguments for the other side as well, which made you go, I can see why they'd fight for that same point. Like Measure of Man, where Maddox wants to get rid of Data. You can see from his perspective why he wants to decommission Data. You can see, you don't agree with it because you know Data, but if you try to think of it from his perspective, he doesn't know Data. There's no reason why he'd consider him an individual. He would consider him a tricorder or another piece of equipment because he doesn't fucking know Data.
You know, it is very much commenting on how we've treated people over the years and how we occasionally just sort of assume that you're less than me. Weirdly enough, with like just like an automatic assumption which is not driven by intent so much as anything else.
Yeah,
and it does come. It presents that, and then it comes to the end of it and goes, well. Yeah, I understand what you think about that, but you need to realize he's alive and he has rights, and what you're doing is creating a scenario where we can abuse people like him.
And you know what's weird? They kind of touch on it again in Voyager, where they use the EMH1 as like pipe tube cleaners. If you remember that, so they and I think they stopped doing that once the Doctor gets back, but they kind of go into that.
The last time you see it is the novel one where he's like they're still working there,
right?
And like he's writing his hollow novel.
That's what
and
it
it's
was.
The one where he had, but that's like season 7, I think.
That's late, yeah.
But
it shows hope that there's gonna be like a push for hologram freedoms. And then what do they do in the next like Picard, the first Picard series? Oh well, do you remember Measure of Man? Well, get fucked because we just made android datas anyway as a slave force. It's like okay, so
we made a slave race we made illegal, which basically you made a person illegal.
Yeah. It's funny because it basically means that Starfleet did the same bad thing twice. It's like, okay.
Yeah, but it's like they didn't just do the same bad thing twice. They didn't. They doubled down and apparently introduced an economic system.
Yeah,
where you can be poor.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad.
Again, there's ways and means in a story. Good sci-fi that's trying to talk about issues always basically frames the things of today in the terms of the sci-fi.
I think all you have to do is look at some... I thought to myself, okay, get the best episodes of Next Gen and DS9 and Voyager. There are lesser in Voyager, but there are still some. And Enterprise. And put them up against the best episodes of these new Star Trek shows. Do they even compare? Do they even come close? And the answer is no. Not even
just because
slightly.
we were talking, I mentioned it. I was just thinking about the Jadzia. Jadzia wants to go into a same-sex relationship.
Yes.
And it's being framed in the Trill... in the Trill way and everything else, but like it still has a scene where a prominent black captain says to his female friend who is trying to get together with another woman, like, doesn't matter how I feel about this, ultimately if you think this is worth it, I will back you from here to hell.
Yes.
And it's just like, I thought that was such a great scene and said so much about what we should be saying to people. It's just like, it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with like someone's life choices. If it's their life choice and it's their decision and they're aware of all the choices and everyone involved in consenting, you don't have a right to judge them.
And the neat thing about that episode was that was the subtext of the story. The actual text of the story was not don't do it because she's a lady. It's don't do it because that was a previous life's partner and you need to move on from that. So it wasn't overtly slapping you in the face with it, which is what a lot of media does today. It was using subtext and subtlety, which is nice.
But the problem I have with like a lot of this is a rant, but the problem I have with a lot of media today is that the way it's doing it preaches to the converted. It's like, hey, do you think that we should allow transgender people to buy a sedan? Then we're going to do a show about why everyone who doesn't think that is evil.
Yeah, and it is evil. It is
but
evil.
Rather than saying, here's an analogy, now sit down and think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you just basically scream from on high, you only talk to people who already agree with you. You do not reach people who don't agree with you. When you're a bit insidious and get into their brain without them realizing it, you can change thinking without having a fight, which is usually more powerful because frequently the people who disagree with you are the ones making the call, which is why you disagree with them in the first place. So if you want to change their mind, you have to get them thinking, not basically confront them with the idea they're a monster.
Yeah.
And
telling people that they're evil doesn't make them support your ideas. It's weird.
Anyway, it's a rant, and believe me, I know it's far more complex than we're saying here, but in the context of science fiction television, I don't think they do a very good job of talking about same-sex relationships, or poverty, or economics, or non-binary people, or stuff like that these days, because all they do is frame it in today's terms.
If you look at the writing credits of the show writers,
science fiction ways.
If you look
at
they don't
have any experience.
No, they have no writing experience, and it's very, very obvious from what you see on screen. It's very obvious. It's
just when you agree with what someone wants to say, and you're still like, but you're making a bad show. That always frustrates me, because it's like, I agree with you. Stop doing it.
That's man. I get annoyed.
I don't know. I want everyone to love each other and be nice to each other, and don't be assholes. And I think that way in part because I watch Star Trek growing up.
Yeah, well, that's not what Star Trek is anymore, unfortunately.
I genuinely, I was thinking about that today. Just like DS9 influenced my approach to morality more than the Catholic Church did. And I live in Ireland. That's saying a lot. But I don't think there's any lifespan in certainly Picard, or I think Discovery has probably a little bit more of a leg, because Discovery apparently just went weird, which I think weird will sell. Bad. I can only comment on the one I've seen. I hated Michael so much because she was a pain in the hole, but she was just an unpleasant person. But apparently it just went weird, and if it just goes weird and knows it's weird and isn't trying to be good and is just weird, that's probably more enjoyable than watching Picard. I
don't know. I don't hear anything good about Discovery.
I don't hear anything about Discovery anymore.
Well, that's because at the moment it's not on. That's why.
But there's a new show coming out, and everyone's saying that's going to be the new flagship.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be the new flagship. I'm sure it's going to be terrible as well, though.
But I know. I'm just like, I know they're I think they're probably going to sideline everything else. But yeah. Anyway, this is a rant. Mm-hmm. You have been watching Star Trek.
I have, and it's been very fun. I've been enjoying it. So apart from that, I finally got in one of the Super Mini Pla kits I ordered ages ago. It's the Gao King, I think it's called. Gao Ranger, Wild Force Sword. So I put it together. It's a lot of fun. As usual, Super Mini Pla do really fun kits, and it goes together nicely. It's got nice articulation. Could be a little bit better here and there, but for the most part, it's good. And it is based off one of the really good figures, because the Wild Force Megazord was just a really solid toy to begin with. So having a slightly more posable version of that is nice. And I like it. It's fun. It's even got Screaming Face, you know, when it combines together and it goes, meow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's even got that face for some reason. So I got that. And I got the Art on Arcane, which is a Dungeons and Dragons book, which talks about the artwork from Dungeons and Dragons over the years. So I've been looking through that. It's nice. They've got a lot of nice artwork from over the years. I've still got to finish it, but yeah, it's been an enjoyable read. And I also picked up and started streaming Sekiro, which is basically the successor, I think, to the Tenchu series, done obviously by FromSoft, who did Tenchu, which has a lot of Dark Souls influences to it, and I've been going through that, and it's really fun. I was told that it was the hardest one of the games, and I think that's because you can't summon help or get any extra aid, which is not how I play those games anyway.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And a lot of it can in some ways be boiled down a little bit to a rhythm game of you attacking, then you having to parry, then you attacking so you break their stance, so then you can get a one-shot death blow into them. And there's a really nice flow to the combat, which I really enjoy. You get prosthetic weapons because you get your arm cut off at the beginning of the game, so as you go through you get new attachments to your arm, so you can blow fire, you got a little axe, you can throw shurikens. Stuff like that. It's a lot of fun, and it's weird because this has the most obvious in-your-face story of the Souls games. And it's shocking to hear characters talk, and even the main character talks, and it's like, what the fuck is happening? This isn't a Souls game. Your main character usually never says a word. Now, granted, Wolf is a very somber samurai boy, but he actually says full sentences now and again, and you're like, whoa! What's going on? At least I think it's weird. But I'm really enjoying it. I am having so much fun playing it, and just coming off of Elden Ring, and then coming on to this, I'm very happy. I've still got a long way to go, but I thought I was gonna struggle with it, but I'm not. I'm having a good fun time, which I'm really enjoying. It's good things, good times. Sekiro, good stuff. Anything? I think that's it. I think that's all the fun stuff I've really done. Haven't really started any animes or anything.
Yeah, I'm just thinking there are a few shows and stuff I watched I didn't mention.
Oh,
I mean, I could if you want to just fill up the void that is our lives.
I mean, if you did something that was fun and worth talking about,
you should watch Spy Family.
I know. I'm gonna. I'm just waiting for it to build up more.
That is very good. That is hilarious. Also, here's
the thing. I mean, no
animated.
rush to watch anime at the moment because there are a few shows that I want to watch, but I'm just letting kind of stack up.
Yeah, no, it's something you could easily let build up, but it is so good. Also, I did watch Revice, and we have basically wrapped up the wrap-up arc, which is like, okay, we spent 5 or 6 episodes wrapping up all the stuff that was kind of hanging on, and we're going to go into the next arc. Also, it was a good episode, mostly, like, weirdly enough, about Sakura and Aguilera, and Aguilera tells Sakura she's in love with her, and considering both actresses were pictured with pride flags a couple of weeks back, I'm assuming just, like, canonically they're going to be in a couple now, so cool.
Well, fair enough.
They've had their male Pink Ranger, right? I actually think that's a bigger move these days because they've had plenty of gay male characters over the years. But this is probably the most subtle one they've ever had. But if I said, "Holy crap, the fight scenes in this show again," would you believe me?
I would. Yeah. Yeah.
There's some fantastic camera work. Lovekov gets a bit of character. And Vale gets a bit of plot stuff.
Good. Feels like about time.
Yeah, he's got a body now. So yeah, it's basically like, okay, now basically everything that's not directly related to GIF or Evil Phoenix Guy is wrapped up from the first half of the show. Right. Which what the last 6 episodes have really been about, and is why the last 6 episodes have been the weakest in the show, I think. Because it's about wrapping up elements we didn't want hanging over us before we went into the next arc. So basically, it looks like we're going to move on to big plot stuff. And they've already confirmed a new form, not a new writer, but a new form is coming in the next couple of weeks for one of the writers. For demons.
Oh, it's about time. It's about time.
Yeah. They've already shown it because scans. Sure. I get the idea behind it, so a small bit of spoiler. Andy won't care. But Kamen Rider over demons.
Not under demons.
No, not under demons.
What about next to?
It's side demons. It's a stag beetle themed form, which is basically kind of like, it's supposed to be the opposite of Vale.
That's kind of a shame that they got rid of the spider motif. I would have thought they'd at least keep that going for him and keep the stag for Vale.
Yeah, and like for the aesthetic, that what they've done is the base body is demons, and then they've got like a retooled version of Vale's shoulders and heads. It doesn't look too bad. It's just kind of like, I was hoping for something a bit more individualistic. We don't know which demons it is, by the way. I'm hoping it's Hiromi, or Hiromi, but it could be a new character. It could be one of the existing ones. We don't know yet. But we'll see. But hey, I do find it slightly funny. Demons of all characters is getting a final form, and Jan is still just getting weapon upgrades.
Of course. Well, she's the girl,
despite
unfortunately.
The fact, yeah, but it's basically she's the second rider because Daiji doesn't do much.
So once again, the assumption is studio mandates. We're not giving her the toys because she's a female character. Which, again, that isn't sexist. That's just one of those toy things and marketing and whatnot. But
yeah. I mean, it is a bit sexist because of toy things and marketing and whatnot, but that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
But like the writer is basically going like, okay, you can do that, but I'm writing her as this main secondary writer. You can't stop
Which we've
me
said
my
before,
show.
I suppose.
Yeah. Listen, it's how we got Chalice.
Eh?
Because they wanted to market Garen, and the writer said, cool, not writing the show about him, though.
Yeah.
You can't make me, because I'll leave. Just like, we could make you. Well, I'll leave. Oh, you have anyone else contracted? No? Well then, you have a problem. Anyway, that was just, I figured I'd fill up the time.
That's fair. Anything else, Mr. Mikey? Has that been it for the week?
That is it for the week, definitely.
Alright, cool. Mikey, where can people find you on the internet if you want them to? Unless you've got any questions. I can't remember if we've got any questions or anything.
I do have one from Andreas.
Oh, we'll do that. We may as well. We should do.
Hey-o! I enjoy all the anime talk on Moonbase too. Basically all we sell ourselves on now. You gave a lot of great anime recommendations over the last few years. Hamifura, Osama Ranking, Shield Hero, Spy Family. You should be watching Spy Family.
I'm shocked people actually listen to our anime recommendations, because whenever I tell my friends in the real world to watch anime, it never happens.
Yeah. Also, I do know he's watching Spy Family. Basically.
Nice.
Well, now we're voices of power now, Andy. And
well,
also, we don't have Matt's too busy to be spending a lot of time on Twitter and telling us we're wrong.
Boom.
So, Matt, come on, we'll do an anime fight. Speaking of Shield Hero, for me, even after 3 weeks, first episode still locked an added support version of Crunchyroll. Do you think this is because Crunchyroll thinks the show is a draw for new subscribers, or because they know Season 2 is not good? I think it's because they're redoing their setup on Crunchyroll, and they're trying to force people onto the new beta version.
Who did Crunchyroll get bought out, or did Crunchyroll buy somebody?
Crunchyroll bought up Funimation, I believe.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So there'll be something to do with that as well. I'm sure.
They're introducing a new beta version, and I think they want people to. They're trying to force people to use that.
Probably. I wouldn't be shocked.
So also, I noticed the Your Forger fan art is running rampant on the internet. I am not surprised by that. That's a Spy Family thing. Anyway, Toy Talk. Why do you think so many toy companies never learn from past mistakes? For example, every Star Saber toy is too weak at the knees and hips to support the Victory Saber combination. Flame Toys is too weak at the hips and knees. Oh, I didn't know that. Planet X is too weak at the hips and knees. Oh, no. Iron Trans is too weak at the hips and knees. Masterpiece Star Saber, you go on. Second example, all Fans Toys mini-bots have a single hip skirt which moves super ugly in dynamic poses, and literally no one likes that design. I can't imagine that a design with two separate hip skirts would cost too much more and would make the toy a lot better. Thoughts?
It's interesting because you would have thought the third party companies would at least figure out, from Hasbro not making toys or keep making the same mistakes. You could easily kind of peg that to the budget of the figure. And whatnot. Hopefully it won't be the case with the fundraising. Is that still going on? When is that fundraising Star Saber out?
Oh, he's done.
Have people got him
this year? No, he's out late this year, I believe.
Oh, okay. I wonder if that one will suffer from knee issues, but I think for official companies it is a money issue.
I don't think so, because I have an idea of why they're at least Star Sabers. But
enlighten me.
I don't think any of them are made with the intention of having a Victory Saber.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I certainly don't think the original was.
You mean the original toy?
Yeah. But because look at how he combines. It's basically just extra bits that could.
I don't know. I think the original one was planned for that, because there's no issue with him. I don't think he has any knee issues as far as I can think, because he's just a big lump.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, around that time, and especially after that time with the ex-Kaiser kind of figures, they're all big chunks. They're all big lumps of plastic. So I would disagree there for the original one.
Oh, I still don't think it was designed for it, but I do think the big lump of G1 plastic really works in its favor, so it doesn't have all those problems. I don't
know. Maybe.
Yeah. But I'm not saying necessarily by the time we got to production, is what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm saying, certainly in the design phases, I think they went okay, we've got this guy. As they went on, okay, we'll design this guy to go on top of him. I don't think it was a case we had this idea of Star Saber and Victory Leo at the same time, and then we designed them as one. I think it Sentai'd it up a bit.
Okay.
Although old Sentai, when they were less obsessed with having infinite combinations.
Sure.
But I think, like, for stuff like Flame Toys and Planet X, like, they have such limited production runs and everything else. I think they were very dependent on knowing their toys sold. So they couldn't, like, would they compromise the Star Saber by adding, like, maybe ratchet joints or something to limit the knee posability? Like, I can't see Flame Toys certainly doing that.
You wouldn't have thought so. I'm disappointed to hear Flame Toys has that issue.
Yeah. I don't know what Iron Trans is, by the way. I'm assuming they're doing a Star Saber. But I think the way I would put it is, like, every company, and I don't care if they're third party or whatever, is in it for the money. And if they don't have to do something, they won't.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, like, why do we still get the same 4 characters in Transformers over and over and over again? Because right now, it's much safer to do that. And they'll never stop until it's not safe.
Mm-hmm.
So, until they start losing money over using Optimus, Bumblebee, Starscream, and Megatron, they will never stop using Optimus, Bumblebee, Starscream, and Megatron. Similarly, they will never spend more on a toy than they have to.
Yeah.
And, like, I think it's less for third party, but even, like, saying, like, okay, we can have 1 piece. Okay, we can budget for 1 piece. Well, can we budget for 3 pieces instead of 1 piece? Well, that is 3 individual parts, and it does raise it X%, and they're still trying to make money. Basically, I think every company, in some way, shape, or form, cuts corners.
Oh, of course. Yeah, they'll all be doing it so they can maximize profits and whatnot. Yeah. It makes sense.
And I think for every person in the production of the company who is really passionate and interested in it, there's someone over the company who is looking at figures and saying, listen, we need to make X amount. What cuts can we make? Like, so, MP Star Saber, I think, has no excuse for being weak at the knees, though, because it's not wearing anything.
The amount of issues that MPs have, though, this day and age, it's not surprising that the knees are fucked as well, at least for the combination mode.
Definitely. Anyway, I've got a bit cynical there, but do you have any other thoughts?
I mean, when we're talking about business practices, I think being cynical is the right kind of prudent course to take. Because when you talk business, it is a cynical affair. Because it's not about making people happy. It is about your underlying budget and how much you're making. Because of course it is. Because that's how businesses work. Cynical, yes, but practical also. But I would agree with you. I don't think I've got anything else to add to that, unfortunately.
Yeah. So Andreas, unfortunately, we can just say, like, people want money.
Yeah, and it's not wrong for them to do so either, I guess.
And I am not surprised that there's a ton of your fan art out there. I'm surprised I see it hasn't been, like, flooding my feed, to be completely honest.
I'm sure you go look for it if you really wanted to.
She's too pure, and I refuse.
Okay.
She's also terrifying, but mostly the pure thing. But yeah. Anyway, do you have any other questions, Andy?
We've just got some messages from Christoph Carlson, who says, I'm trying to find the start of the messages. I think it's this one. Also, shout out to the Swedish Transformer Convention RetroCon that was this weekend. Very cool. And here I am, and here's who the mystery Marvels were. This was the silhouette image we got last week. I was hoping for Moondragon and Falavel, but more Black Order is fun. So it's 2 characters from the Black Order.
Okay.
I don't know who they are, so that's fine. And I've almost finished Craven on Domino. Also glad to hear that you picked up some Lego Jurassic World games, Mikey.
Yes, it's been fun.
You finished it?
I know I sidelined it for Star Wars because I could just get out of the way, but no, it's a fun game. It's fun. It's chill. It's a nice little. It's not something I'd ever say sit down and play all the way through in a day.
It's literally like, turn your brain off and you just kind of chill out. Really, that's it.
It's also amusing to me how everyone just wants to dig at the Spinosaurus.
Oh, they do that in the game, do they?
Yeah, he's complete dope.
Oh,
like, and it's just like he doesn't. He the whole thing about him and that, like, he's the incompetent supervillain.
Oh, fair play. Well, that's us done then, Mikey. Thanks for coming on by. Where can people find you on the internet if you want them to?
You can find me on Twitter as Irish Paleo, and on YouTube you can. I keep doing that. You can't find me anywhere. I don't do anything on YouTube. If you want to send us a message, it's on Moonbase2 at Twitter, or on Moonbase2 at gmail.com, or on Facebook, or Libsyn, or Weebly, or any of those nice places. Send us anything, really. Clearly, we will talk about anything. We spent 50 minutes talking about how I hate modern Star Trek. And I don't really like modern Star Wars either, but I didn't like old Star Wars, really, apart from Empire Strikes Back. Which is a very good movie. Very good movie. Not directed by George Lucas, and I think it shows. Anyway, Andy, what about you?
You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube as Decade Andy. Remember, as in the corpse, not as in the decade. You can head over to the Moonbase 2 forums, Twitter, iTunes, Facebook, Libsyn. You can also do YouTube as Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast. We're on patreon.com/Moonbase2. And if you do $2 each month, you get the extended version of From the Files of Teletron 2, and you get a Moonbase Woo Woo, where we talk about non-transformery things in more detail, theoretically. And you can head over to ccbunker.weebly.com if you want to get us that way as well. So, I think that's everything. Oh, I'm also on Twitch as Decade Andy. I think I said that. Either way. Thanks, Mikey, for joining me once again. That's us done for this week. We'll see what's going to happen next week, if there's going to be more fun news. Well, regardless if there is or isn't, me and Mikey will be back. So until then, thanks for coming on by. I will see everyone next week. Bye.
That's terrible.
No!